Hello everybody, we are live once again for another show, and everything's good here, so I think we're all right to go, and hope everybody will enjoy today's show as usual. And let me just readjust this, readjust that, and go to the chat room. And I will actually also get the IRC chat on the left side here. So yes, starting to Halloween mode. Actually, too much Halloween mode. I bought a bunch of 200 small chocolate bars yesterday. They were on sale, and the bad thing about having mini chocolate bars around every time you go in your living room is that you have to take at least one or two every time you go to the living room. So I've been like eating too many of them, but apart from that, it's okay. Getting ready for the Halloween 2017. Play the channel. Oops. Gotta quit here. So hey everybody, welcome aboard. You're watching the Shortwave radio show. We are here every Fridays, and here we are logging on to the IRC chat. Hello everyone, and here we go. So in the IRC chat we have SG2 East Nebraska. Hello there. 37 Fahrenheit. Fall is over. This is pretty cold. And in the regular chat, hey there. So first of all, this is the Shortwave show. We're here every Fridays, 2000 hours Universal Time. We, of course, talk about shortwave radio, tune around the bands. We have some information that we'll talk about a little bit. And basically answer questions. We are here, of course, to talk about radio in general. No show tomorrow, for those that wonder. Tomorrow is my Saturday off. And my name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, and hope you will enjoy today's show as usual. So SG2 East Nebraska, hello there. I'm Mapper from Moscow. Daniel Walsh, nice to have you here. Steve from Australia, Melbourne, Australia, nice to have you on board on what is, I guess, Saturday morning. David Snyder, nice to have you here from Staten Island, with his New York, with his ICOMR 75 on Global Tuners, and so go and tune his radio. Tuners, Global Tuners, Staten Island, name of the radio. Check it out, and why not tune around his receiver? It's always fun to tune around from other places around the world. PLF Radio from France, MDK2, nice to have you here. And Lewis 65. Mike DX mentioning that there was a update to SDR Uno software. Two Hands on Radio, nice to have you here. Jerry DX, nice to have you on board, Jerry. Bobby Burgess from Louisiana, USA. Waltz from Latvia, nice to have you here. Fernando Gabriel, hola, ¿cómo está? What do we have? What do we have? MDK2. Sorry here, a little sneeze. I was petting Paul the cat for the past 10 minutes, and that's what happens when I pet Paul the cat. Anybody else that I've missed, say hello, please. I'm here to say hi to everyone. Tyler Salisbury, nice to have you here. From DeSoto, Missouri. You know, there are some states that I always have problems pronouncing. I need to practice my 50 states. Robert Sutherland, nice to have you here. Jay Adam, nice to have you on board. And yeah, Gabriel's doing really, really well. He's got an extension to his contract for testing apps on phones and devices. So he's having a lot of fun with that, and so his contract's been extended to October 22nd. He almost last Saturday almost came over during the show. I didn't see his text message. He sent me a text message, and I just didn't see it because he was asking me at some point, "Oh, if you want to have me pop in on your live show and say hi to everyone," but I didn't see it, because if I had seen it, he would have been there last week. Hey, Michael Bob, nice to have you on board from the IRC chat. Melvin Brinston, hello there from Alberta, Canada. Salvo Morina, nice to have you here from Milano. Big Stack from Ottawa, nice to have you here. Fernando Gabriel, it is the UVB 76. There is UVB 76, or is it an invention? Yes, there is absolutely a UVB 76, which is the buzzer. Pretty much the same thing. So it's on 4625, and we'll try a little later on. It's still a little early for the buzzer here. We'll try to get it a little later on. I've received it last about a month ago. 4625. Drink Noni from Mississauga. Nice to have you here. And always fun to have everybody on board. So we're going to talk a little bit about a few things happening in the next week and in the next few days also. Rich, Atlanta, nice to have you here. You should hear the Bad Apple ham operating on 7200. Oh, you know what? Every time I go there, I don't think I stay there more than about 15 seconds. It's a disgrace to the amateur radio community. Same as 14313. I was listening to All Indoor Radio coming in on 7550 right now. With an okay signal. S9 is 9 plus 10. Pretty cool. But yeah, absolutely. And absolutely, it's the sewer of ham radio, 7200. It's the dark side of the amateur radio community. Oh, really? Interesting. We should check that out. We'll check it with the SDR if I don't get it here. So it could be. It's not impossible. It's an upper sideband thing, so maybe it's just off frequency a little bit. I don't know. We'll check it out. So yeah, the buzzer 4625, which is from what we know, possibly a Russian military communications system of some sort. 95% of the time it buzzes, and that's only what it is. It's basically kind of reserving that frequency for a specific task. It's like Russia saying, "This is mine." 4625 is our frequency. But from time to time there are some messages, some people talking and give out messages on the frequency. There's even some YouTube videos of people that received messages. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Should have put their pirate flag. I was talking about that last time. I really need to set up 2 little hooks so that I can actually quickly put the pirate flag up real fast. So what else do we have here? Richard says, I can hear Trenton and Gander volume on the New York one. As New York volume is discontinued. Well, you know what? I haven't tried it in a little while. I'm not hearing anything right now. 6604 usually should be coming in at this time. And I think this is the time for, is it the time for New York right now? That's an interesting question. We'll be checking out regularly during the show. That could be, we know that aeronautical communications, that will at some point in the next couple of years be discontinued, and we know that as that is going through, the weather stations, the vomits will also basically disappear from the shortwave frequencies. So you know what? Good question, because I ain't hearing anything right now. New York, I should hear New York right now at 6604 at this time of day. Maybe even faintly on 3485. And there's nothing there. So, interesting. Is New York vomit a thing of the past? It's not impossible. Or maybe they're just on maintenance for some reason. But that is something that we'll have to keep an eye on. And if anyone wants to tune in the different frequencies to try them out, by the way, during our show, 13270 10051 6604 and 3485 upper sideband are the frequencies. Well, you'll hear Gander and New York. So if you don't hear New York when it's there, that means that it probably is off. But I would guess it is off. I wouldn't be surprised that it's off right now, because I pretty much hear it all the time on these frequencies. So what else do we have here? C. Johnson, hey there, nice to have you on board. I'm not sure if you ever used SDR Touch for Android today. Figured out there's a fine-tuning adjustment on the bottom of the selector. Yeah, there are actually lots of little fine-tuning and auto-correction features on SDR Touch to calibrate and to make sure that everything is all right. So when you put your SDR, it's always a little bit off frequency, first of all. So you can calibrate it, and you can, yes, fine-tune. But still, I find that SDR Touch is not the best interface for a touch device, or especially a phone. Maybe on a big tablet, it's better. I've never tried it on a big tablet, but on a small phone, it's kind of really difficult. So, really nice to have you on board. John Risson, good evening. Nice to have you on board, says, for once not working the late shift, can be here for the start. Woohoo! Cool. Nice to have you here. So if you touch the little lines at the bottom of the filter, you can do small adjustments. Helped out a lot. So yeah, well, I need to play a little more with it. I haven't used the SDR Touch in a little while. I really need to test it out. I've actually ordered a last generation Soft 66, the RTL version 3. Because I liked playing with that on my Android phone. I was thinking that I would, play with it. So I'll be coming back into the full-scale shortwave listening on my Android phone, and we'll be playing around with the SDR Touch software. So cheers, everybody! I've got a white beer, a Blanche de Chambly. So cheers, everyone! I think this one is 5%. So cheers. KC Red Dragon, nice to have you on board. People are receiving BBC on 15490. Let's check it out, 15490. And they do have a station there. It's not very strong, but it's there, absolutely. I'm hearing a little something on 15490. What else do we have? Just got a freeze warning. Where you are, Tyler. We had our first freeze about a week and a half ago. And since then it's been like really warm. We're actually having the warmest October ever, I think. It's really, really been amazingly beautiful. Just crazy. Today's colder though. It's about 9 Celsius right now. Didn't go much above 9 degrees Celsius, which is about, what, 50 Fahrenheit, something like that. And we're supposed to have a hell of a lot of rain this weekend. Starting something like Saturday night, Sunday and Monday. We will be having high winds up to 100 kilometer per hour winds. And they say up to 100 millimeters of rain. So like 60 miles per hour winds plus something like so 4 inches of rain in 2 days. So it's going to be pretty crazy, And I saw that in Western Canada. I saw some, I think it was in Saskatchewan. There are a few places that there was some snow in the past week. You know, winter's slowly creeping up on us. I mean, when we get to Halloween, we're close to the snow and we're close to that winter time. So it's crazy. Tyler says 14670 CHU time signal making it there. Cool. Casper Peterson, nice to have you on board as usual. PLF Radio says the solar flux 77 and the K index of 0. That's pretty good though for propagation. Solar flux 77, you know, could be worse, but it's not very high. Bud Householder, nice to have you here from Ohio. Pretty cool to have everybody on board. Any updates on your discount antenna? Yeah, it's crappy. You know, I was wondering about what was happening because when Fastlow gave me the discount, he said, look, it ain't performing good. I don't know why. So I said, okay, I'm going to take it. I'm going to try it out. It ain't performing good. My mobile vertical is actually doing better than my discount. So I'm thinking of removing the discount and putting my 102-inch CB antenna on it and plug back the CB. You know, at least my 25-foot long mast will actually be used for something. I'll put the CB, 102-inch CB antenna on it for now, and we'll see what else. And when, you know, after the winter is gone, we'll see what we can do and maybe add another antenna. And I'll try to get myself for next you know, spring, maybe that magnetic loop antenna from that US company there. David Arden, KJ4CMY, just joined. Been moving furniture all afternoon. Not as much fun as listening to the radio. Yeah, it's not the same game, eh? It's like painting. I need to paint here, and it's like, yeah, painting. Oh man. William Helms, nice to have you on board from Florida. Tyler Slidersbury says overloading. Our radio Havana Cuba overloading on 15140. Tried a little earlier. Was not there. It was very, very weak. Extremely weak. Pretty much nothing here on 15140. Matthew Kelleher, nice to have you on board. Says that in Denver at a high of 85 on Thursday it snowed. This is crazy. You know, this is the weather, weird weather we've been having. It's like it could be real cold one day or two, then it gets like 70s, 75, which is unusually hot at this time of year for here. Jill Gullick, nice to have you from North Carolina. 48 Fahrenheit chance of snow flurries tonight for Tyler. David Snyder, 9980 WWCR 20 dB. Let's check it out. Am I receiving it? It's rather weak, but it's there. It's there right now. Mickey Delmage from Sherwood Park, Alberta. Good afternoon. And really nice. All hands are getting ready for the CQ Worldwide Contest. Yeah, it's this weekend, if I'm not mistaken, eh? So that's part of the things that we're going to talk about a little bit today. Let me just check out here the different things I'm going to talk about. I made a little list here. So, contest, okay. So, yeah, the SSB one is October 28, 29. So it's going to start. It's going to start at 0-100 hours UTC today. Oh, so kind of interesting. So we're going to talk about that also because it's something I actually like tuning around with when there's some AM contests. I think it's a cool time to listen to different countries around the world on the shortwave bands. Really nice. So welcome aboard, Mickey. Anthony Fennick says, first time for me. This is 9H5FA from Malta. Woohoo! Thank you. Welcome aboard, Anthony. I believe I've heard you on the AM bands at some point. I wouldn't be surprised. I think That call rings a bell. I think I've received your station at some point. Maybe it's possible. I could be wrong, but I think I did. Dan805, nice to have you here. Says I got a speech I have to do for school, my hobby. Does anyone have any good ideas for my radio presentation? You know what, Dan805, for a radio presentation, you know, I did one when I was in high school. I think it was the last year of high school. Had to do a presentation on something you loved. And I remember I did a presentation that lasted, you know, everybody did a little presentation on something, but it lasted like 5 or 10 minutes and didn't know what to talk about anymore. And I remember my presentation lasted, I think it was 15 minutes. And even the teacher was like all surprised at how, you know, I'm a blabbermouth, been blabbermouth when I was young also. So I could fill up a 1 hour of talking about shortwave when I was 16 years old, as I do today live on YouTube Live. And if anybody would have told me when I was 16, oh, someday you'll talk about shortwave and you'll have some fans looking at you through the internet and you know, from everywhere around the world, I probably would have said, yeah, right, come on, what's that thing, that internet thing you're talking about? That's future, man. Well, we're here. So you know, keep the important thing in a presentation, Dan, and if you want to make it interesting, focus on the important points that somebody that has no idea what that is will find interesting. So don't forget to focus on its international aspect, on the fact that you can also correspond with stations and receive QSLs and things from stations all around the world. You know, that made a big impact. When I did mine, I had with me a bunch of letters, and of course back then it was even worse because with the Cold War, it was the you know, Radio Moscow and Radio Berlin and all these you know, Eastern Bloc countries. That was surprising. You know, Radio Moscow surprised everybody there. It's like, oh wow. But you know, talk about the international aspect of it, and talk about the fact that how a very inexpensive receiver can receive signals from all around the world. I think there's many little things like that that you need to focus on. Don't go too much into the technical aspect, because that always bores everybody. That's not shortwave related, but do stress out that it's like, you know, just a little radio with almost nothing and a little telescopic whip on it will receive stations from, you know. And of course, if at some point you can bring a little portable radio and tune something there, I don't know if it's possible. That also is something that a lot of people are going to be like, wow, yeah, okay, this is so cool. But you know, focus on the wow aspect of shortwave. I think that's the important thing. And you know, of course, never forget when you talk about that, why, how you came into the hobby, and you know, the little aspect of how radio waves propagate from around the world. You know, a quick look at what happens and everything. But I think you know, you're gonna have a lot of fun. I remember I you know, I was you know, like everything, you know, when you're in school, you get in front of the class, you're always really nervous. And I remember I was super nervous when I got in front of the class to talk about shortwave. But once I started talking, like for a couple of minutes, it just came up, you know, super easy. And then you started relaxing. And if you know what you're talking about, you'll relax quite rapidly, basically. And Lewis says, just finished a nice 5.7% IPA. Cool. SG2 in East Nebraska says 15140 Radio Havana, Cuba. Slow fading. So, interesting. What else do we have here? Tyler says clear 15730. 15730. There's something. It's not very strong, but it's there here for sure. So it's nice to have everybody on board as usual. Bill, K3WDR. Good afternoon. Nice to have you here. And tell them about you know, anything that is actually making it cool to you know, listen to everywhere around the world. African Pathways Radio. I was listening to that one around 2 p.m. Local time, 1800 UT. Is it still there here? Yeah, it's very weak. It was much better. It wasn't as strong as usual today, though. I think the low solar flux is kind of making a dent on the Casper Peterson, I'd love to see pics of your antennas. Yeah, I need to make a video. I'll repost a video of the antennas I have in the backyard. I think it's something that a lot of people would like to see. John Riston says, I agree, I have a new discount sound on the yard at this time as it was NAF. I will experiment and increase the radials and element size in order to improve it. I was wondering one thing, John, about the discount. I wonder, you know, the discount that I have, of course, has the little slot at the top where you can actually put a vertical on top of it that screws in that. I was wondering if adding that would not greatly improve the antenna. Because, I mean, it's been crap. I can tell you that. Break 19, David. So, no, not the MFJ for me. The magnetic loop is from an amateur radio operator, W6 something. I shared it last week. And, yeah, good luck on your speech. Absolutely, as David Arden says. It's always fun to talk about it. T.O., nice to have you here. And pretty cool to have you on board. I'm well. I'm well. Been trying to... actually been well for an interesting thing. I've been... I can't talk much about it, but there's a possibility I'll have a sponsor here for when I do the live shows. So I met with these people on Monday. We are going back. I'm going back with more information. They want to know more details of my, you know, what's my audience basically, and where do they watch from, and is that product available in their respective countries? So, and how many people they're going to reach also. So I'm bringing that next Wednesday. We're going to talk more about it. And well, you know, in the past, I talked about it in about a month ago. In the past two months, AdSense has been recovering a little bit. It's not the AdSense monetization on YouTube that I knew 3 years ago, but it definitely helps in you know, that plus the continuous increase in viewership from my channels are kind of helping out a little bit. So you know, and like I said, you know, if everything just goes good enough, I might stop bothering everybody about donations. But for the time being, don't stop donating. I still need it, but you know, I'd like to be able to fly on my own and without bothering everybody every 5 minutes about donations all the time. So David Snyder says 11580 WRMI. Now this one's good. That one's pretty strong. WRMI 11580 is pretty good. Unfortunately, because of the days that are getting really shorter, one of the things that's sad about WRMI has been fading out quite early in the evening now. And it's sad because it's one of the frequencies I was tuning a lot for different stations. And I find it sad that, you know, past about 100, when we go past 0-100 hours, it fades out and I don't hear it anymore up here in Montreal. Mike DX, to test the discount, use antenna analyzer, check SWR and coax loss. You know, but the coax loss shouldn't be a problem because I'm, well, not at the frequencies I listen to. If I go high, because one of the things for sure, My discount is being used on the VHF UHF frequency range. I do know that my coax is losing, has a lot of loss, and it's the AWR wave scan. Kind of an interesting DX program, the AWR wave scan.
Welcome to Wave Scan, the international DX program from Adventist World Radio. Researched and written in Indianapolis by Dr. Adrian Peterson, and produced in the studios of WRMLA Shortwave in Miami. I'm Jeff White. This is edition NWS 452 for release on Sunday, October 22nd, 2017.
Well, that's the AWR wave scan of last week. So that's an interesting DX show, by the way. So I know that I rapidly have coax loss as I move up in frequency. That's very clear. But still, if I check, because I use, I've been just removing the connector and putting the connector back on my vertical antenna. And my vertical antenna performs as well, if not more. And it's a very, it's just a small 30 to 1300 megahertz portable mobile antenna. It's a mobile antenna that is, a magnet at the bottom, so it's on a metal shed. So it's kind of in a perfect environment because it is sitting on a big metal box, which makes it, work better. But I don't see any improvements on the discount at all, unfortunately. I thought it would be better. Revelda 65, nice to have you here. What else do we have? XN80Xer, nice to have you on board. Keegan from Northwest Arkansas, 48 Fahrenheit, partly sunny. Here it's sunny, but about around there, 48 Fahrenheit, I'd say. Jay Adam, Michelle, are you familiar with the DoD simulated massive coronal mass ejection grid loss event schedule to occur November 4th? Amateur operators will be involved on 60 meters. Absolutely not, and I'd like to have more details. If you can, okay, on the RRL website, I'll check that out. Absolutely, I think it could be interesting. It could be interesting. I'll check that out. Anybody have the link that we can check out, the direct link? Kind of interesting to see what that is. What's on 14550 AM? And I've got absolutely nothing. What do you have, Tyler? Is it speech? Is it what kind of transmission do you hear? Yeah, Malta. It's a nice place to visit, absolutely. Kind of interesting. Svetlana Rodriguez, nice to have you here. So some kind of test is going to happen. That's interesting. Kind of interesting. Coming slowly down the chat. What else do we have? Channel 21 CB skip. Let's check it out. Do I have some skip on? Channel 6 is my place. If there's some CB skip, I'll hear it on this frequency. Don't hear anything right now. Seems rather quiet on the skip side. What else do we have? Juan Amigo, nice to have you here from Barcelona. Hope things are not too bad over there. Seems to be getting a little complicated. Casey Red Dragon, do radio signals come in better in the cold of winter time? Nope. There's really no, from what I understand, the temperatures have no effect on the propagation itself of the radio waves. And when I say that, I don't. Okay, we'll be careful. There are effects of different air masses and stuff like that, but say in the dead of space, okay, in the dead of space, if it's minus 100 or plus 100, a radio wave is not really affected by that because it's it's really electromagnetic waves. They're moving around. They're kind of, from what I know, kind of not affected by temperature. One of the things that makes us think that sometimes, and I do realize that you know when you start thinking about it, it's like, oh yeah, but I hear that and I don't hear it in the summer. So we would have maybe a way of thinking, oh, it seems when it's cold it might propagate better. It's like, you know, saying when it's raining I hear things better than when it's not. On shortwave, specifically for the shortwave bands, rainy, snowy, clear, doesn't make a difference. Cold or hot doesn't make a difference. What makes a difference is the fact that we have different length of day, which is different. So in the winter time, there's more night time. There's less sun. The sun, especially in the higher latitudes here in the northern hemisphere, the sun is much lower. The ionosphere is not ionized at the same level as in the summertime. So that makes a difference. The day-night length and the fact that winter, summer, especially when you're closer to the poles, there's a lot of difference in the number of hours and the angle of the sun. That is more what will make signals come in better or not. But they don't usually come in better in the winter time or when it's cold. M6DDT, nice to have you on board from Gloucester, UK. Hey Dave, nice to have you here. What else do we have here? No problem there, Dan805. Hope you come back soon. What else do we have here? Mike DeVita, restoring Alecrafter's TW1000. How is our kitty? Oh, pretty well, pretty well. He's in the, he's not far actually. He's got a box. I've been receiving good food, make good food boxes, which is the equivalent of Blue Apron in the United States. And you get all the ingredients to make the you know, recipes. And he just loves these boxes. What I do is I always keep one not very far here, and he likes to sleep on it. He just jumps on it and just sleeps there. So he's right there in the back, pretty much in the back here, sleeping on the box. John Harrison, I have a vertical part on mine. No, it does not help. Problem is they do not meet a set formula for a discount via antenna design program. They are built for price and package size. Yeah, okay. Because mine is, you know, I'm about to take it down and just store it. Because I don't seem to have anything interesting with it. My mobile vertical works as well, and like I said, you know, I'll put the 102-inch CB antenna instead. I think that's going to be better. VK2 FBAJ or G, and so VK2 FBAJ. Hello there, Brian, Sydney, Australia. Nice to have you here. Fun to see everybody from around the world. Calvin, 29. Nice to have you on board. Bobby says, I heard the latest stock of RTL SDR dongles with antennas are stuck in USA Customs. Yeah. You know what? What's funny with these RTL SDR dongles, Bobby, you know, every radio has to meet a certain type of criteria with the FCC in the United States, and like here in Canada's Industry Canada. One of the funny things is, technically, these RTL dongles are illegal to import, because technically they have all the frequency ranges that the US, the FCC has blocked: cell phone, cordless phones, stuff like that. So RTL SDR dongles are technically illegal to import in the United States due to that law. And I don't know, maybe somebody somewhere started saying, hey, look at that, all of these little things that people use that become radio scanners that they can listen to frequencies they're not allowed to listen to. Maybe they will get some kind of regulation of something. We never know. I mean, they've been going through, because they've been going through as TV receivers. You know, these RTL dongles are meant, first of all, to have HD TV on your PC. That's what they are meant to do, and nothing else. But of course, with the ingenuity of some people and a driver that actually modifies the way it works, we get a receiver out of it, which is quite cool when you think about it. But sometime maybe somebody will kind of check that out and say, hey, there's something illegal about that here. You know, you never know. So it's not impossible that they'd be stuck there. Mine's coming directly from China, so hopefully it's gonna go through. 12050 is EWTN. There we go. Let's check out we'll check out the frequency here. There's Radio Martin 11930, I believe. That one's strong.
Y ya ha dejado de existir, es decir, hay textos de los años 60, 70, 80, todo.
Y lo dividen así por tiempos.
Sí, está en 4 partes, que en el primero, dos primeras de...
K6YYL, Kimberly, nice to have you on board from California. Recorded a few of my radio contacts on amateur radio and posted them to K6YYL YouTube channel. If you anyone are interested, I'm going to check it out. And by the way, you know what? I'm going to check it out, and you're giving me an idea. I was looking at a channel. Is it mainly radio related, your K6YYL channel? We'll give it a little boost. I'll post a video and tell everybody to subscribe to you. Maybe it's going to give you the idea of doing a little more of those, for sure. Glenn and Linda Dawson, nice to have you on board. AK4HA and AK4JZ on bus to Louisville. Nice to have you here. Cool. This is cool. See everybody and see new people also. It's always fun to see new people around. So really, really nice. What type of coax I have in my discount? It's regular RJ. What is it? RJ8, RJ9, something like that. I forgot what it is. It's RJ9, I think. Let me just check it out here quickly. For shortwave, it's perfect because it has very low loss at below 30 megahertz. Let me just check it out here. So it's RJ. Need to check it out, and I'll confirm to you in a second that, yep. RJ9. Is it that? Coax. So RJ9 coax. Yeah, it's exactly that. RJ9 coax. I know that for VHF and above, I should have LMR type coax, which has much less of a loss on the higher frequencies. I do see very rapid decrease in efficiency when I go in higher frequencies on the RJ9. But still, you know, it's RJ9 on both antennas. I mean, I should have, if the antenna is better on the discount, I should have a better performance on the discount, because, you know, it's the same cable on the discount and on the vertical mobile, and it ain't. So it's okay. Jay Adams, I'll give you. So it's communications interoperability training on AORL.org. So it's kind of interesting. One article, communications on amateur radio. Okay, it's those, when they do those cross, like Mars net and amateur radio stuff, kind of interesting. Okay. John says LMR 400 clone, it is a very low loss, UHF and above. Okay, so you've got better coax basically. Really, really crazy. Yeah, well, of course, the super cold is not to the problem with antennas is that they might be efficient at very, very, very low temperatures, but at the regular temperatures that we have here, there's no real, you know. Isn't the sun closer during the winter? Yes, but the angle of it is different. So the Earth isn't exactly like this. And here, I think somebody wants to say hi. Either wants to say hi or wants some food. Let's see if he wants to come over here. Come over. Fine. It's it. I don't think he wants to come over. He's looking at me with these eyes of, I'm hungry, human. Come feed me. Come on. Come on. He doesn't want to. Everybody wants to see you. Cats, they do what they want to do. Yeah, they do what they want to do. Yeah, let's just, for the purpose of you saying hi to someone, come here. Come here. Yeah, here we go. Oh, God. He's putting himself down. He doesn't want me to pick him up. So, here we are. Here's Mr. Cat for everybody. So, here we go. Mr. Cat saying hi to everyone. By force a little bit, but just wanted him to be up here. So, that's the thing. The sun is closer during the northern hemisphere winter. Yes, absolutely. But it is at a very shallow angle. So the amount of radiation we get in reality is much lower in the northern hemisphere. So that's the difference. The difference in reality of being closer or farther away on the orbit, because I think it's like January 4th is the closest, and July 5th or something like that is is when it's at farthest from Earth. But that range is not big enough to make much of a difference. It's really the angle of the sun, because of the Earth being at a 33 degrees angle, that makes the difference. So in the summertime, the sun is much more direct over us, has much more energy. Yeah, the sun is, it is. And in the winter time, because of that angle, well, the sun is very, very low, so there's a lot less of energy that actually reaches us from that angle. So that's the thing that makes a big, big difference. What else do we have here? Let's go through the, sorry guys, I will I'm a little far in the chat room, but I'm getting there. Calvin says, having internet trouble tonight, it'd be in and out, no problem. It happens. Here everything seems okay, seems green, so it should be okay. So pretty cool. Michelle, hey there, greetings. DJ1MK, nice to have you here. Nice to have you here. Glenn and Linda Dowson says, the thing that affects propagation is thickness of the ionized gases governs where the signal is refracted back to Earth. Yeah, of course, thickness of the ionized gases at the ionosphere, how strongly ionized the ionosphere is, because depending on solar activity, it's more or less ionized. The time of day will change that property of the ionosphere also. So basically, that's why we have changing propagation as the hours go by. Kazimierz Bilman, nice to have you on board from Poland. Olesnika is the QTH. Wow, nice to have Poland on board. Pretty cool. Robert Babcock, nice to have you on board. Enjoy your show. W0RAB, pretty cool. Pretty cool. Nice to have all of you here. What else do we have here? David Snyder says WWCR 9350 has 20 dB. So it's pretty cool. David says I recommend replacing it with LMR 400. I just can just about guarantee much improved reception. I'm pretty sure because, I mean, RJ9 has a lot of loss. When you go above 30 megahertz, I remember seeing a graphic on a chart on a web page showing how exponential the loss is as you go higher and higher in frequency. But I really the idea would be to change my RJ9 for LMR 400. The only thing here is, you know, and what's important is here I've got a long coax. My antennas are in the back, and all the radios are in the front of my home. So basically, I've got something like 75 feet of coax just from the back to here to the radios. So the length and the fact that there's a lot of loss doesn't help, that's for sure. That's for sure. Okay, what else do we have here? Vol says, how long is it? You can look up losses in tables. Maybe it doesn't match that much. Matter that much. Yeah, well, in my case, it does. Because it's about 75 feet, and I did once look at the a chart, and when I go above 400 megahertz, it's really getting a lot of loss. I'm losing a lot of signal in there, and I know about it. And I know that above 1 gigahertz, forget it. It's my radio is deaf above 1 gigahertz because of that cable, basically. So LMR 400 or something like that would be a good thing for sure. Well, Mike DX, no, the sun is actually closer to us. It is really closer to us. The Earth's orbit is an ellipse, and there's a point where it is closer, and there's a point where it is farther away. And in the first week of January, we are at the closest of the sun in our orbit. But the tilt of the Earth makes the angle of the sun, the radiation is not getting as important. So basically what happens is, because of the angle, the shallow angle, the sun being very low, it's not hitting directly. It has to you know, come at an angle which doesn't give as much energy for each square inch of space that it actually is. But the sun itself is, yes, closer by a few million kilometers. 15555 WJHR, let's check it out here. 555. Well, I think it was a good idea to put the Hexacan on my lamp by force. He stayed there. So I hear something here. 15555. Not hearing much right now. 15555. VK2 FBAJ says, one downside to LMR 400, it is hard to bend, but it has very little loss, so the pros outweigh the cons. Yeah, I shouldn't have a lot of bending to do. A little bit, but not too much, I would say. So what else do we have? What else do we have? Yeah, that's a lot of things coming. That's a lot of things coming, Bobby. So okay, before we continue in the chat and say hello to, I'm just going to see if there's anybody else to say hello to. This kind of antenna receives most signals equally poor at works best in strong signals. John Lawrence, nice to have you here from St. Paul, Minnesota. First snow day of the season. When we start hearing snow here and there, that means we're going to get snow very soon here also. Pretty cool. So what else do we have? What else do we have? Yeah, it is. I know it is expensive. LMR 400 is very expensive compared to RJ9. You know, the RJ9 I've got here is very simple. It's RJ9 that I had like 200 feet of that thing lying around. So I've used what I've had, and it does the job. I mean, you know, I still can receive a lot of things, but LMR 400 for 30 megahertz and up would be better. That's for sure. Joe Gomez, nice to have you on board from San Diego. Fabrice Simonet, bonjour, bienvenue. Nice to have you on board. And yeah, quality comes with a cost, for sure. Sheldon Harvey, nice to have you on board from Greenfield Park, Quebec. And don't forget that if you wish to receive a sample copy, if you want to see what the Canadian International DX Club Bulletin looks like, it's cidxclub@yahoo.com, if I'm not mistaken. cidxclub@yahoo.com. You can ask for a sample copy of the CIDX Bulletin, and if you like to join the club, it's $10 a year. It's a PDF publication, and it's very, very nice. Jerry, addicted to your Whistler. Told you. That's why I told you, get it. I knew it. I knew you would. Fastload, my friend Fastload, I went to the IM Fest last week. He's addicted to his. He just goes crazy. I'm supposed to, by the way, he's supposed to lend me the Whistler for TRX1 for a couple of weeks soon, so that I can talk about it and make videos. So for those that want to see the Whistler TRX1 in action and talk about how it works and everything, I'll be posting that on the VHF UHF channel, because it's, you know, basically a VHF UHF receiver. But I knew you would love it. It's an amazing radio. Ernie Turner, good morning, and nice to have you on board. Paul from hello to Paul. Yeah, he was here 2 seconds ago. I guess you maybe see him. VK3DET, nice to have you here. And so really nice to have all of you on board. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. Philip Briggs from Brazil, nice to have you here. And pretty cool to have all of you on board. So pretty cool. Recordings to come. Cool, Jerry. So I'll be checking that out as soon as we meet. He's gonna because, you know, I told him, well, if you want me to keep it just one day or two, but he said it's so complex of a receiver that you'll want it for a couple of weeks to really sure that you can talk about all the different features, for sure. So yeah, the CIDX journal, very professional, and it really is true that it does not cost a lot for a year. Absolutely. The CIDX Club Bulletin. So, okay, a few things to talk about for a lot of us. So I guess it's always a mix-up in Europe. I think you guys are changing your clocks this weekend, is it? Are you guys changing this weekend? Can somebody confirm this in Europe? Here in North America, it's next week, the first weekend of November, we're changing our clocks, and that's always a mess up. Now, just remember one thing. My shows are always at 2000 hours UTC. So if you change your clock, just remember it's gonna change by 1 hour the time that my show is locally. But in reality, if you live in UTC time, it's always 2000 hours UTC that it starts. That does not change, of course, but that will change for me, because that means that starting next week, 2000 UTC will be 3 p.m. on my local time. That will make a change of difference for me. Will be an hour earlier local time for me. But if you live in UTC and understand UTC well, I'm always at 2000 hours UTC. Other thing that's coming up is Halloween. For pirate activity, there's two events that are coming up that are amazing. There's, of course, Halloween. Halloween is probably the #1 pirate activity time of the year. This weekend, I mean, you know, let's just look at 6900 kilohertz right now and see if there's something right now. I don't really see much. I see something here. Let's check it out. Anything here? Not really a lot of things. Something very weak there. Nope. So it doesn't seem to have anything on right now. But tonight tomorrow, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, Halloween night, Tuesday, October 31st, pirate stations. Pirate stations will be there. And by the way, Radioactive, welcome aboard. There's also an event that will happen. And don't forget, on Tuesday night, Halloween, okay, October 31st, I will be live at 2100 hours UTC. We're going to chase pirates. There will be 2 stations rebroadcasting a show, and these 2 pirates, and let me just get back that little message I've received from Cool AM Radio to talk about it. So as Cool AM Radio is actually telling me, on the night of Halloween, okay, there will be a special Halloween show. It will be relayed, played over North America by 2 pirates, Moonlight Radio and Clever Name Radio. And the station ID, Creepy Radio, will be on air. So if you guys want to receive Creepy Radio, Pirate, it will be relayed by Moonlight Radio and Clever Name Radio on Halloween night. Also, next weekend, and we have 2 shows, so it's going to be fun to chase that. November the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. Okay, November 3rd, 4th, and 5th. 3, 4, 5. It's the Global HF Pirate Weekend. Pirates will be there, but for international audience, basically. And they will broadcast on different frequencies that will be, a lot of them will be outside the regular pirate bands. An example, the last HF Pirate Weekend, I heard Cupid Radio, that was from Holland, that was on 15070 in the 19 meter band daytime. So it's important to check out the HF Underground website, because that site has a lot of information about pirates getting on the air. So pirates are going to be aplenty from tonight up to Sunday, November the 5th. And hope you guys check it out. And of course, the ones that are going to be like on the 19 meter band, stuff like that, remember one thing, these will be in the middle of the day, trying to reach North America, trying to reach different regions of the world. So take note of this, because it's very important. So pirates are going to be something to listen to. If you've never heard of pirate, I think that you'll have the highest chance of hearing pirates will be absolutely in the coming week. Okay, so check that out. Also, this weekend is an amateur radio contest. This weekend is the CQ Worldwide DX contest, the single sideband mode. It starts at 100 hours UTC tonight, basically, local time here. 100 UT. Goes up to 23 hours, 59 minutes on November the 29th. So October 29th. 28th and 29th, so tomorrow and Sunday, you will hear a lot of stuff happening in the amateur bands. I mean, if you have a chance tonight, tune one of your favorite amateur bands and notice how 15 minutes before 100 and when we hit 100 hours, the amount of stations that are just come live on the air for the contest. Now, I know for amateur radio operators, a lot of these contests are kind of really horrible moments, because I do understand that amateur radio operators just get on the bands and it's like a free-for-all, and I gotta say, there is maybe a lack of respect during a contest. I gotta say that I have noticed so many times, a lack of respect when there's a contest. And of course, if you're not in contesting and you want to do some AM radio operator stuff this weekend, go to the WARG bands. The WARG bands are the ones that are not allowed contests. So, 18 megahertz, you have 10 megahertz, you have the 60 meter band, you have 24 24890 to 20, close to 24890, 24990, 11 meter band, something like that. So you can go to these work bands. These will be free of contesters, because making a contact when there's contests is almost impossible. That means the bands are going to be like really swollen with activity. There's going to be so much activity. And I'll be honest, I like contests for one thing. You can, in the space of an hour, listen to like 50 countries. It's just crazy. And it's, you know, tune around and listen to the different stations. You won't hear conversations here. You'll hear only contacts. But that's coming up this weekend. And if you are not able to, if contests make you basically sick to the stomach a little bit, well, on Netflix there's the new Stranger Things season that I will be, of course, looking at. That at least can take you away from radio for a while. Okay, so anyways, so these are the things that are happening. And last but not least, this Sunday, October 29th, we are moving to the B17 schedule season. That means starting Sunday, our favorite shortwave stations might be at different frequencies. A lot of them will have changed frequencies. And the reason why, because winter, summer propagation ain't the same. They have to choose different frequencies to propagate to their target areas. So starting Sunday, if you find out that your favorite station ain't there, well, it's possible that it's not there because it just changed frequency. Not a lot of them, but a few of them will have changed time also. Some actually do a shift in time with the local time shift also. An example, I think Radio Romania does a time shift. You don't only do a frequency shift, they do a time shift. But starting Sunday, it's the B17 schedule season. That also means that all your favorite internet websites that have frequencies of your favorite stations, they will not be very accurate for the first couple of weeks. Why? Because it's going to take the time for the different frequency lists to be updated on the web. But after 2-3 weeks, things should start to settle down, and it's time to listen to maybe some stations you can't hear very often. You know, that's an occasion for something different also. For example, when there are some stations that it's impossible to hear sometimes in the summer because of the frequency choice, and then in the winter time you'll hear them because the new frequency used propagates. An example of that, Radio Thailand to North America using 15590 has been inaudible this summer. Solar flux has been too low. But now they're going to move on Sunday to 13745 probably. Well, that frequency gives usually an interesting signal to North America. So, you know, it might be the return of, oh, I'm hearing Radio Thailand. So there's things like that that might change. I think it's important to you know, basically just tune around and remember that this is going to take effect Sunday. So what else do we have? What else do we have? I'm coming slowly to all of you guys. Okay. Try not to miss out on anything. Philip Briggs says, I use some satellite RJ6 coax for VHF UHF reception. Very low loss, relatively cheap. 75-50 ohm loss is not a problem for receivers. So, okay. That could be interesting to check out. So thank you, PLF Radio, on Sunday. So Europe is changing. We are changing next week. And there's always that thing that's really crazy. Yeah, radioactive, yeah. The only exception to the show is on Tuesday. My Halloween show is 2100 hours UT. And the reason why is because I have a tech show, the live tech show at 1900 UT. So basically, that one is about an hour and a half long. And then take, you know, a 30-minute break and set up for the Halloween show, 2100. Victor Osorio from Honduras. Nice to have you on board. Pretty cool. Really nice to have everybody here. Take care, NDK2. It's always nice to have you on board. What else do we have? So Solar Flux 76, K index of 0. That K index of 0 is good. Really, really nice for that. Gilles Radio International. I need to have that. Gilles Radio International. Can we find some slow scan TV? Let's check it out. 14230, somewhere around there. We'll leave it there a little bit. If somebody has some, we'll be there. So Radioactive says there's lack of respect for long-established maritime nets, emergency nets. Very sad. You know what? We have a net here in Quebec that's been a long-standing Quebec net on 3780. It's a French language net for the province of Quebec. And in the past few years, they've been on a fight because it's close to the 80-meter DX frequency. And there's a lot of stations that are complaining that, well, you know, you could move the net to another frequency to leave the DX window, you know, open. But there's a stubbornness. A lot of amateur radio operators are like, well, you know, we've been on 3780 for the past 30 years. Why should we change? And, you know, I do not agree with that way of thinking. I'm sorry, but even if it's a net, that frequency ain't yours. You have decided that you'd start a net on a frequency one day, and well, maybe not everybody agrees that you're there every time on that frequency. And so I thought, look, everybody's telling you it's a DX window. I think you can do the net somewhere else, you know. How you know, big of a difference is it to just say to everybody, hey, starting next week we're going to be on 3725. I don't know. Whatever frequency they choose, that's available. Nets, you know, sometimes it's, yeah. So the B17 shortwave schedule season starts Sunday. Actually starts this Sunday. So basically everything is going to be interesting there. Thanks, Sheldon, for sharing a page for the activity of the Pirate Band. So, and it has that Global HF Weekend picture for those that wonder. So lots of activity coming up on the pirate stuff, I can tell you that. What else do we have? Julio Cesar Acuña, nice to have you here. RAA Argentina, tune please, 15345 11710 6060. Are they back on the air? Because they were off the air for a while. They were rebroadcasting for yeah, there's nothing here. They are rebroadcasting from WRMI for a while because their antennas were and their transmitters were being fixed out. So cool, Casey Red Dragon. Philip Briggs says free branders here in South America below 40-meter band get way down below 7,000 towards the aviation band at times. Yeah, and there's a lot of them. I hear tons and tons of those in Spanish and Portuguese. You know, all across, say 67, 6800, 6900 kilohertz. Most of the time in lower sideband. Tyler says CHU is modulating my port 15 transmitter. So yeah, they take a large chunk, and I hear them all the time. Hey, Fast Load, nice to have you on board. Friday, what's that? I have no idea what you're talking about. SG2 Ace Nebraska says HM01 Cuban Lady on 11635. Let's check it out. And what do we have? Not hearing much. Propagation seems to be a little awkward today. So we have... Oh, I hear it a little bit. I heard it. I heard a little bit. It's very weak. It's in the noise for me, basically. Bujo Jojo, nice to have you here. Nice to have you on board. Bennett W, really nice to have you here. This is HDSDR, and it's controlling my software-defined receiver, which is an AFEDRI, AFEDRI, software-defined radio. So nice to have you on board, everybody. Pretty cool. Yes, a lot of devices do use 433 megahertz. I've got two wireless weather stations here, and they transmit digital bursts on 433 megahertz. 433-920, I think, for one of them at least. And so it's really nice. So there's a lot of stuff on these frequencies. What else do we have here? I'll watch for SSTV for you. For some reason, I keep thinking the frequency for SSTV is 70 to 30. Actually, you know, SSTV in reality, if we look at the, just gonna look at the frequencies here. SSTV HF frequencies, because there's one frequency for SSTV on every band, basically. So on the HF bands, 40 meters is 7171. 7171 is the SSTV frequency. So if I put it on 7171, I might hear some SSTV there. And there's 14230, 14233, and 14240 apparently for Europe on the 20 meter band. 10132 narrow mode. 10132 has narrow mode MP73N. Oh, interesting. 80 meter band 3845 and 3730 for Europe. So it's kind of interesting. So there are SSTV, but you know what? I think I've never heard slow scan TV anywhere else than the 20 meter band, except for pirate stations sending it on 6950 or something like that. But so there's several frequencies for it. Theo says, I'm curious, your long wire shortwave antenna, does it point north and south or east and west? It is very, very frankly a east-west antenna. It is a sloper, so it's at an angle. So it goes from the top of the corner of the home here, third-story building, up to the fence on the east side of the yard. And it's 22 meters long, which is about 75 feet, and is really, frankly, east-west in its direction. So, really interesting. Propagation conditions change. 76 solar flux K2 for the K index. K2 isn't too bad, and we're gonna get that out. I will take a break for 2 seconds, and because Mr. Paul the cat wants to either eat or go outside, and I am going to get myself another beer also, and I want to have some lobster bisque, Mike DeVita. So I'm going to put some broadcast here so that you guys have something to listen to. Channel Rate International, and I will see what Mr. Cat wants to have. And at the same time, we'll show you that you can donate to the show on PayPal and on Patreon. So please do so if you want. It helps me a lot continue what I do. Thanks for all those that donated, by the way. And I'm back in 2 seconds with a new beer and Mr. Paul the cat.
All right, in our state,
It doesn't get lower than this amount.
but you're right. This is looked at as dollars per hour. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, and here when you look at the wage, a minimum wage that's set for an average employee, this is quite a bit lower than what's set for the graduates. And my wonder here is how serious are employers going to be to follow this guideline of substantial raising the minimum wage standard for graduates?
Well, first of all, just wanting to chime in here, it is just a guideline, which means, as I understand, it's not compulsory in the law, which, looking at that, it basically, if an enterprise offers a lower wage to a university graduate, that could be you, all right? You can't go to the courtroom and say, hey, I'm getting a lower wage than what is offered in this guideline. They'll say, oh, I'm sorry, that's not compulsory law, okay? So it's a guideline meant to maybe kind of push the company to say, come on, let's do this, let's make it happen. But it doesn't have to happen. Now, here's something that I think is interesting. If I were a city that wanted to foster maybe startups, okay, I would say minimum wage could be, a higher minimum wage could be a bad thing to a certain degree. Because many times these startups, they have trouble because they're just getting started. They have a great idea. They really believe it. You know, startups, I think a word that is synonymous with them is passion, right? They're really believing in what they're about to do. They're looking for investors, but they're not making any money. They're just trying to get their, feet off the ground, right?
This is China Radio International, 7285 from Albania transmitter site. And Paul the Cat wanted to go outside. So here we are back with a live show. We're already an hour and 20 minutes. Time really flies. It's just incredible. And we're talking about shortwave and radio in general. So Mike DX says tip 7738 kHz AM transmitter in Barcelona, 600 kilowatt. Coming in the south of UK. That's a frequency to watch for the Catalonia development, knowing what's going to happen there, absolutely. Hope things are not going to go too bad over there, for sure. What else do we have? Any thoughts, M-Stacks, any thoughts on the SDR Play 2 versus the SDR Play 1? I have and like the SDR Play 1. Anybody that has an SDR Play 2 can tell us any information about SDR Play 2. Is it better in some way? Is it worth it? If you have the 1, is it worth it to move to the 2 or not? Victor Osorio, CFRX still active? Yes, absolutely. Let's check it out. I probably can hear it right now. And yep, it's there. Not super strong. But that's CFRX in Toronto. One of a handful of stations left on the 49 meter band. You know what? The other day I really wanted to was almost mourning the loss of CKZN on 6160. I'll tell you, really would have loved to. I missed that station having a CBC outlet on the shortwave band, and it often at this time it often gave a pretty good signal here. Really sad that they just pulled the plug, and who cares, you know? So just crazy, basically. So you're watching the Shortwave Radio Show. Take care, PLF Radio. Nice to have you on board. And of course, on this weekend, we have lots of pirate activity, lots of stuff that's going to happen. Don't forget to check out for pirate activity the usual bands, because for the regular pirate activity, usual bands are about 6850 to 7000 kilohertz in the for North America. A lot of them are in single sideband or per sideband, but there are some AM pirates in there. Also in Europe, 6200 to 6400 kilohertz, and basically that's the European band for the pirates, of course. So check it out, because this weekend, with Halloween being very close, I think it's going to be a really good time for pirate radio activity. Don't forget that on Tuesday, Halloween night, October the 31st, I will be live starting at 2100 hours UTC we're going to tune pirates. We're going to search for pirate activity, and hopefully hear some stations. We know that there are going to be some broadcasts going on with Creepy Radio being rebroadcast to North America, so it's going to be interesting to hear, and hope we have a lot of interesting activity in there. And of course, once again, don't forget that for those that listen to international broadcasters, the schedules for the B-17 season, that's the shortwave schedules for the winter time, basically in North America. The stations, your favorite stations, will probably change frequency. This coming Sunday will probably be a little mixed up in the frequencies for a couple of weeks. You know, a lot of stations have that same frequency they use winter and summer. So a lot of them are going to basically be simply changing to that same frequency they've been using for years on the winter time or in the summertime. And that's really, you know, so you can, there are stations you can almost already know they're going to be on that frequency starting Sunday. You know, like Radio Thailand, they're going to be on 13745. It's been like that for like 30 years. So it's you know, something to check out. Vensterbank says, has the SDR Plate 2 works fine. Local strong signals cause a lot of interference. So interesting. Says SDR Uno, a lot of crashes. Okay. Steve in Australia had only the SDR Plate 2, can't compare. So okay. You know, it's a very complex situation. It's like I received, you know, software is something that's difficult to define for everyone, because I get messages from time to time. For example, I have a message, an email that I received once from a guy says, well, I don't understand why you use HDSDR, it crashes all the time. And I never get a crash out of it. You know, if it crashed once, I think it's pretty much the only time it did. So, you know, I think that's there's a complex issue here with using SDRs, for example, the drivers, the type of machine we use. You know what? One of the things that a lot of us, that a lot of people don't know about USB devices and the computer you use, is that some specific device sometimes doesn't work well with some specific motherboard chipset or some USB chipset. And sometimes there's crashes, but it's not the software. It could really be on the side of the hardware making the software crash. It's a very complex issue using software. And you know, when somebody tells me, well, mine crashes all the time, what should I do? It's very, very complex. It's extremely complex. It's you can't, you know, I can't say, well, you know, well, okay, we all have the same drivers. Obviously, it's like there's really not a lot of updated drivers in these things. So technically, we pretty much all have the same driver. But you know, it could be the hardware that has some glitch that makes everything crash. It could be the software also. And that's a very, very complex issue. It's very difficult to pinpoint, well, what could be wrong. So, you know, everybody will have his own idea of, well, I don't like that because it is, you know, it crashes all the time. Well, it doesn't crash on my PC. Very unique. And I've had that situation happen. I remember testing out the RTL SDR dongle on 2 or 3 different machines, and on one of my machines, it was crashing regularly with SDR Sharp, and it wasn't on any other machine that I was using. So it's, you know, really, really complex, because there's so many interaction with the software and everything that it's difficult. It's difficult sometimes to understand, you know. So it's really, really something unique. What else do we have here? What else do we have here? So 73 X180Xer, it was nice to have you on board. And always nice to have everybody here. And there's no show tomorrow, by the way, because it's my Saturday off. We'll have shows. The next radio shows will be next week. And even that, you know, my DX, even that is unique to you. I used SDRs on Windows 10. My RTL SDR, I used 3 or 4 different. And updates, no updates. I have no issues. It's very, very unique. It's like I say, software and hardware is, it's delicate, depending on the configuration of everything we have. And like I like to say, as a tech guy, 80% of what I've seen, and people give the fault to Windows, ain't Windows' fault. It's everybody else, but ain't Windows' fault. Hey, Richard Cook, nice to have you on board. I forgot to say hello, I think. So, yeah, no show for tomorrow, Saturday, my Saturday off. 2100 hours UTC on Tuesday for my Halloween show. We'll be chasing Halloween pirates. So, absolutely, on Tuesday, October 31st, 2100 hours UTC. And the next shows after that will be November. I just can't believe it will be November. You know, when I realized that the next show after that is going to be November, it's like, wow, okay, kind of shocked. So the next shows will be November 3rd and 4th. So Friday, November 3rd, 2000 hours UTC will be here. Saturday, November 4th. And we'll probably be chasing some pirates again, because with the global HF Pirate Weekend, there's probably going to be a lot of activity. So it's like, you know, all the pirates are going to turn on their, you know, transmitters in the coming week or so. It's going to be very interesting to check out. So maybe we'll tune a little bit and see what we can hear on this different frequencies. Let's try down 5,000 kilohertz and go upwards and see what we can hear. So what is there? There's still weak here. There's some Stanag on 52 something. So what else do we have? Some radio teletype. Royal Air Force from the UK, 5450. Not very strong, but it's there. Oh, the Royal Air Force from the United Kingdom, 5450 upper sideband coming in. Sheldon, have a weak signal that should be KLS via Madagascar in Chinese, 11610. Yep. It's definitely Chinese. Been hearing it better than that in the past few weeks. It's weak tonight, but that is definitely Madagascar World Voice Relay of KNLS on 11610. Amazing powerhouse signal from Saudi Arabia on 11820. 11820. Propagation is weird tonight. So, Richard there, 11610, nothing. I do hear it a little bit. And yes, we are getting darkness path to Africa. So 11610 is not the best frequency. And you know, we're getting more. I mean, in the past few weeks it was stronger, but as we're getting into winter, that pad is getting bigger and bigger all the time. So we're probably not going to have that bet. But you know what? It's a darkness path pretty much between Saudi Arabia and here. And look at the powerhouse signal Saudi Arabia is giving us on 11820. I'm going to stop it there because I got, I actually got a, when I posted a video of this the other day, and if it's too long, I get a flag from YouTube saying that because of the content of this, there's no monetization possible on that video. Nobody wants to have an ad on the video. It's like, what? Okay. So Richard says that there's weak BBC on 12095. Let's check it out. 12095. Yeah, not very strong, but it's there. Let's try 9915. Nope. Very weak. 7550 India. All India Radio is on 7550. And on 9445, but seems better on 7550. All India Radio, which is in English right now until 22:30, something like that. What else do we have here? Michael Palkus, hello there, nice to have you on board. Bought a Yisu 557 GX from Italy. Do you know about this? And also, can I transmit with a long wire? Well, you can transmit with a long wire as long as you have an antenna tuner hooked up to it. If you don't have an antenna tuner, don't do it because it probably won't be resonating correctly to the frequency you want to transmit to, and you'll risk blowing out the output of the transmitter. But if you have an antenna tuner that will actually bring it to a resonant frequency that you want to transmit on, you can transmit using just a long wire. It's not the best of ideals, but it's going to work. Pretty cool. Let me check that out. Yaesu 557 GX. Yaesu 557 GX. That looks... Let's check an image of it. Oh, that's nice. That's interesting. Very unique little thing. Very unique little box. Wow. I had never seen that before. So I don't know if anybody has a an idea of how that thing performs or if they've ever used one. But kind of interesting here. VK2 FBAJ says 6400 not heard here, but it's daytime, Pat. Australia now. Comes at clear local nights. Yeah, I haven't done that in a long time, but I need to do it again. I've been using the online receivers in Australia and trying to tune in frequencies from time to time. So pretty cool. Vodka and cranberry juice plus grilled veggie sausage wrap on Polish bread. That sounds good. That sounds pretty good. I got leftover lasagna from yesterday, so that's going to be the lunch later on. And it's pretty cool. Alex W. Slater says 7550 is plus 10 dB in Chile. Nice to have you on board, Alex, and nice to see you got a great signal there. Richard's receiving 9445, real good. That's good. And 7850 CHU. That is nice. That is really nice. Your reception is amazing, Richard. BPM 5000, pretty amazing. What else is there in the 41 meter band? 74.95, which is, hey, David in Barcelona. Nice to have you on board. Hope it's not too bad over there and things are going well for you, my friend. Let's check out here. I want to see the frequency. 74.95 is, I believe, Algeria via France, right? And 74.95, yeah, Radio Algérienne in Arabic from France, 74.95. Something on 74.45. 74.45. Which technically should be possibly China Radio International. Not very strong though. Not a lot of stuff here. China with a booming signal at 72.85. China Radio is really strong at 72.85. This is from Albania. Talking of Albania, I've received Radio Tirana broadcast via WRMI the other day. Isn't it on now? 5850. I don't remember, but I received Radio Tirana via WRMI the other day. Richard says 74.95 rather poor, 74.45 very strong. Alex says 74.45 plus 20 dB. Wow. Music on 74.35. Michael says, what antenna is the best to use? I only received before, and I am thinking of a license to ham. Well, there's a lot of different antennas you can use, but there's, you know, you could use a dipole, you could use, you know, a lot of amateur radio. One that's very popular is G5RVs. There's a lot of different antennas to use, and you know, a lot of hams actually do use a long wire and have an antenna tuner with it, and it's surprising what you can do and the performance you'll have. It depends on the space you have to hook up and to get an antenna working where you are. I think that's the first question you got to ask yourself. How big an antenna can I put at my location? And then there's like tons of other, you know, there's tons of antenna styles and different antennas that you can hook up for HF. So it's the fun part. Lots of space. Well, then you've got a lot of things that you can try out. They're going to be extremely cool. I mean, there's a lot of types of antennas that you can try out there. For sure. Bennett W says, I found a huge buzzing block, 9334.45. Yeah, like Steve says, antennas are an art of their own, and you know, it's fun to try it out. It's fun to play with that, for sure. It's part of the fun to try different antennas and see the performance you get. 7205 looks like it's Spanish. I have the impression it's Spanish. And I believe it's, let me just check it out, if it's Spanish. 7205 is, or it's French. Maybe Radio France, because it's either Spanish or French. Let me listen. It could be French. I think it's Radio France I'm receiving because I think it's French. But what else is there at that time? There could be China Radio in English also in 7205. That's another possibility. So you could be receiving China Radio and Radio France at the same time, technically. For sure. Cholikov, Ivan, hello there. Welcome aboard. Nice to have you on board, mister. And it is, you know, antennas are a lot of, you know, are part of the fun. A part of the fun of radio, even for reception. I remember, you know, I don't do it as much as I should maybe. When I started on shortwave, man, I would try everything. I would hook up a wire to anything that is metal, just to see the performance and what I could receive and if it made a difference. And if I hooked it up this way or that way, or changed the positioning and so on. So, hey Patrick Manny, nice to have you on board. Thank you. Yeah, simple but effective. And I actually have the coffin over there and the other thing over here, which is kind of that tree that moves, that you guys, some of you guys probably seen in the past Halloween shows. So, and way too much candy over there, so it's really, really crazy. Voice of America 6195, let's check it out. I've been hearing it regularly, this one. It's very weak tonight. Propagation is not as good tonight as it is most of the times. 6195 is not making it very strong here. This is from Botswana, Voice of America from Botswana. So nice to have all of you here. And what else? What's on the 49 meter band here? So 5960. Great signal from China Radio, once again from Albania.
Had ECFM as a companion and to some extent a friend, a teacher kind of thing to help you out in a way and to enrich your mind. And I think that's certainly monumental in my mind.
Yeah.
Thanks, Michael, for the donation. Much appreciated. And does help me out. Does help me out in many ways. So thanks, everybody. Chinese station 6185. I don't get anything on 6185. I don't believe. Well, I got something here. Let's check it out. What's that? Here. There's something very weak on 6185. Alex says 6100 very strong. Got barely a line there on that frequency. What's on 6185? You say it's Chinese. There's China Radio in Arabic, but in Mandarin it's China Yue Broadcast. But that's not broadcasting right now. China Radio, there's Radio Educación that's going to start later. That's interesting because if you're hearing something in Chinese on 6185, it's not there. There's something in Arabic, which China Radio apparently, to North Africa from Albania. But, interesting. What else do we have here? Really not much. There are lines of little broadcasts here and there, but almost don't get anything. China Radio is booming in. I mean, their signal is quite amazing, I gotta say. By the way, for those that are using FLDG software, update your FLDG software for digital modes. It is updated to version 4. So, FLDG has version 4.0.11 for decoding digital signals. So it is better, and by the way, I got tested it. Somebody had told me it's better. It is better than it for decoding weather facts than the version 3. it's slightly better. So when I am 6195 AM receiving something Chinese, a station. So at this time, Steve in Australia says same as y'all. Even tried aluminum foil on the walls with alligator clips. Mom wasn't too impressed with all the foil gone. I've done a lot of things like that also. I really have been playing around so much. When I was young, I would play around with everything. I remember in the backyard we had a fence, and the top of the fence was metal. And it was going 3 or 4 houses. It was like the same big fence, very long, like 200 feet of fence. And I remember I would plug alligator clips on the top metal pipe of that fence and see if I can listen to any shortwave stations with that, or if it would improve reception. Man, I tried so many things. Wires of different lengths, of different waves, shapes. I remember doing like a loop, a circle, like a loop, doing a square, a triangle, all sorts of weird things, and trying it out and seeing what I can do. And one that was really successful is I had made a quarter wave dipole in my living room, and my mom wasn't happy back then, with a wire that was attached to the ceiling, and I would use that for the CB, and it really worked well, because I mean I could contact CB stations quite far, but my mom wasn't too happy to have a quarter, you know, it was quite long. I don't remember how many feet each wire had, but it's like, I remember she looked at the ceiling, and she didn't say anything. She just did like, it's like, okay, she doesn't want me to do that. She's going crazy with my antenna building. Richard in Atlanta, Georgia, is receiving WBCQ 7490. That one skips over me on this time usually. Yep, nothing here. One of my favorite Friday night listens usually is Alan Wiener Worldwide. Lately they have the new frequency of 3265. 3265 been coming in quite well, actually. So it's still a bit broken. I agree that it's not as solid as on the when I use the other software, but it's better than it was. It is better than it was. But I've noticed the thing that it doesn't like is when you start playing around with your PC when decoding. So Bennett W's got something on 6135.25, very strong unknown language, and on 6135, what that could be at this time. 6135, 0.2, if it's 0.2, because Bennett says 0.25, 6135.2 in Portuguese would be Radio Aparecida from Brazil. That one I've heard a few times here. If it's in some other language than Portuguese, what's on the air right now is China Radio International in a language that's HR. I don't know what HR is, but if it's not Portuguese, it's probably China Radio International, basically. So if it's Chinese, it's China Radio. China Radio. Sal Marandola, nice to have you here, says, sorry I'm late on this, but what radio are you using? Okay, I'm using a AFEDRI, AFEDRI software-defined receiver. So it's a little you know, silver box with basically the HDSDR software that's controlling it over my network here, basically. Ivan Chalakov says 6135 for me is always China. So, China. Kevin Napalo, hello there, from New Jersey, says 7490, booming in. Cool. SSTV on 1423. Let's try it out. 14230. Check it out. If I hear something, I'll try to stay alert. Bram, nice to have you on board. Salut, mon ami. Nice to have you. VA2XE. And always nice to have you here. We'll stay there a little bit and see if we can hear some SSTV. You know, every time I listen to some slow scan television, what I do is I shove the radio on 14230 and I leave it there. And I leave it there. And if I hear something, then I, you know, switch on, or I'll put the MMSSTV software and start decoding for sure. Radioactive says nothing on 1423 yet, 230 yet. Big Bench Anton. Some French guys on 14202. Nice to have you on board. How about that? Let's check it out here. Any 20-meter amateur band activity? Yeah, here. There's something.
Oh, well, that's how it happens. You can't put them all there. AC4 hopes to be NK right out.
There's a little bit of activity. A little bit of activity on 20-meter band, but not that much, eh? Not that much. Joe Gomez, internet links with pirate info. Well, one of the great places is HF Underground. If you go to HF Underground, that is real-time monitoring of. And Sheldon also shared one a little earlier. HF Underground. Let me just share it with all of you guys. HF Underground. HF Underground, one of the best websites for pirate activity, real-time pirate activity. Lots of information is here. So this is HF Underground. Just share with you guys. HF Underground. There we go. Here we go. Take care, Radioactive. Always nice to have you here. Richard Cook's receiving the PIP on 3756. SSTV on 14222. Usually it's around 14225 to 235. But we have some slow scan TV stuff. Most of the time closer to his frequency range. But with the lack of activity right now, and there's a lot of stations that are probably waiting for the contest this weekend. B, hey there, says Shell, what is the reason that ICOM still make the R75 for the Japanese in some other markets, but no longer available for everyone else? You know, there are some things like that. So I knew they discontinued. I didn't know they were still making it for some specific markets. One thing for sure, there are specific markets that are more inclined in buying a receiver, and what happens is that some of these markets might have a different requirement as to what frequency range the radio will receive and everything. But you know, it's ICOM's guess, basically anyone's guess, what ICOM and why ICOM does it, basically. Mickey says, I checked out the B17 Deutsche Welle schedule. It appears that Deutsche Welle in English will be discontinued. Been listening to Deutsche Welle since the 70s. Anyone remember Larry Wayne? Yeah. Wow, really? Take care, Ivan. Tomorrow I'm not live. Will be the next radio show. Yeah, probably Japanese model for local Japanese market. You know, Japan is still a big market. It's still 100 million people. But that would be sad to see Deutsche Welle leave. Did you get that information? Did you check out the HFCC list? That would be sad. Then I haven't heard in English in a long time. I actually listen to the French language Deutsche Welle on the afternoons. It actually comes in here okay around something like 1800, somewhere around 1800 UT. I've been listening to the French language Deutsche Welle. One thing for sure, it's not the same Deutsche Welle that we've had. What else do we have here? Richard Tribble, nice to have you here. Radio Romania starting on 9760. Let's check it out. Wow, it's weak. Aren't they on 7430 also? 7430 is good. 7430 is much better. So Radio Romania in English, 7430.
Vice President for the Euro and Social Dialogue, also in charge of financial stability, financial services, and capital markets union. And Spain Senate for the request of Prime Minister Rajoy.
Oh, really? Direct from the the Deutsche Welle website. Oh, this is sad, Mickey. So even the French is missing. Wow. What are they keeping? Only German? Are they just keeping like a German service or something? Or some African language of some sort? Man, this is sad. So even French is missing. Huh. One thing that's... somebody told me, I don't know if it's true, but somebody told me that Voice of Russia is still registering frequencies in the HFCC for transmissions on shortwave, even though they haven't been on shortwave for a long time. You know what, Jerry? I've got asked so many times I should be making French videos. There's kind of a gang of shortwave listeners in France that always tell them, like that have stumbled across my videos and my live shows and say, why don't you do the same thing in French? You'll have a good audience with, you know, France, and there's a lot of French-speaking people. I got a lot of people that ask me to do that. Even on the Windows side, the tech shows, the tech stuff, I have a lot of people that ask me to do French language videos. And, you know, the biggest issue I think with that is the fact that I already take so much time making videos and live shows that I don't have a lot of time left even to just live myself and be happy. So that's also something that's keeping me out of, you know, if days would have 48 hours instead of 24, maybe I'd have more time to do it. But then again, you know. So Radio Romania 7430 or 9760.
Order in Catalonia. Earlier, the Parliament in Barcelona adopted a resolution calling for, quote, the beginning of a process of the creation of an independent Catalan state in the form of a republic, end of quote. Catalonia House President and other members of the regional government attended the vote. On October the 30th, Bucharest commemorates 2 years since the devastating fire that ripped the collective night to Bucharest. 60 people were killed and 100 others injured. The event is marked in Bucharest by the Collective Association through a procession called the March of Guitars and 2 days of concerts. On October the 30th, Radio Romania will broadcast a program inspired from the tragedy, which is symbolically entitled 64. On this occasion, people are expected to voice their discontent on the related court trial that had been postponed for the month of November. Decision that caused dissatisfaction among the victims' families. We found that the club's owners and representatives of the company that had provided the pyrotechnic devices for the concert hosted by the club have been sent to court for manslaughter and violation of fire safety regulations. The former district mayor has also been sent to court for abuse of office along with employees from the Inspectorate for Emergency Situations for having failed to sanction the club for the
trying to check out the HFCC list here. And hey, thanks for being here, Mike DX. Always nice to have you on board. Hey Antoine, K3DY, nice to have you on board. It's been a while. Jill, even some great RFI programs could be interpreted by you for your subscribers on your great live show. Yeah, Radio France. I listen to Radio France. They have a great signal the afternoon here. 13740 is one of the good ones. I often listen to Radio France on shortwave. I miss the times they had really good signals here, but yeah, you know. So, KC Red Dragon. Yeah, when it's so weak, the slow scan TV, when it's weak, it's really, really difficult to decode anything. Turkey in English on 9830, yep, Voice of Turkey, which is its. Not too bad, this one. This Voice of Turkey.
The National Archives will therefore release more records with immediate only in the latest of circumstance at 9 of 26, April 26, 2018. They will rule out elections in a speech on Thursday evening, the day before the Spanish time, which is expected to pass a bill to its market, direct control of the region to the east, while we was prepared to call elections. Madrid has not or guaranteed that it will stop the process to impose direct rules. There are no guarantees that the Catalan Parliament later convened on Thursday evening to debate how to carry out independence mandate and return to Spain's intention to dissolve the regional government. And that was the news brought to you by the Voice of Turkey.
Voice of Turkey, not as strong as usual, but 9830, Voice of Turkey. You know what? I'm looking at the HFCC list here, and I see Deutsche Welle. Oh, here's the. I'll give you a moderator status, Mickey. Just a second here. I'm giving you moderator status, and here you go, Mickey. You'll be able now to post links. And ban guys that are idiots. So you'll have two things possible: share links and just ban idiots that sometimes appear on the channel. So Turkey 9830. Jay says, don't forget us fringe guys and girls. I just checked through the HFCC list. I have the HFCC B17 complete list of registered frequencies. And it is kind of interesting. They are in African languages, but there's no exactly what I see here. The same as the schedule you're sending me. Hausa, Swahili, Pashto, Dari, and Amharic. Well, that's a bummer. No more English or French from Deutsche Welle. That is a definite bummer, I'll have to say. Definite bummer. Check it out, 14230 again. Don't hear nothing much right now for a slow scan. What may be strong for you might not be very strong for me. So I I have checked the HFCC list, and it also doesn't show any English or French. Really sad. Really sad. Deutsche Welle is gone. And yeah, there's sometimes a delay in the chat that's really weird. So let's check. Let's check here. I don't know if somebody has. Hey, I'm live right now. According to YouTube, I am live right now, and it says in French too. Actuellement en direct. Shortwave 80s. Anything from an old time shortwave Deutsche Welle? Hey, I posted a video a year ago, August 29, more than that, August 29, 2016, about Deutsche Welle. Dirty days of shortwave. We don't hear the interval signal of Deutsche Welle anymore, but this is what it sounded like back then.
Hier ist die Deutsche Welle mit den Sendern in der Bundesrepublik Deutschland.
Oh, I know what I could do here. Deutsche Welle. BN Relay. They had something like this, I think. Yeah, it's something like this. Caribbean Relay Station. That is something else, I think. Caribbean Relay Station, Antigua, West Indies. Look at that, guys. Old video of what it looked like. Man. I don't know if you guys can see it well. But, and the antenna masts and everything for broadcasting.
BBC World Service.
Oh God, when the BBC used the look at these transmission lines and antenna. Wow.
This is the BBC World Service in London now.
Here, we started here, right here.
Look at that, the BBC Caribbean Relay Station. A video was made there.
Come this way, come to the workshop. The workshop.
Okay.
This is our workshop. This is Dave, my boss. This is how it works.
Kind of interesting. Kind of interesting.
How long are you going to say that, Tony?
Okay. Kind of interesting. Hey, Marek Svimansky. Nice to have you here. Well, we're tuning the bands, checking out old stuff, and just having fun. Richard Cook says receiving nothing on the 31 meter band right now. So you know, as the solar flux will go down, we'll have and with the long nights, we'll have less and less higher frequencies. I was looking at a graphic of what, you know, maximum usable frequency will look like in the northern hemisphere in you know, like November, December, January. We'll be listening to our stations in really low frequencies, I can tell you that. Bobby Burgess says 9830 is very weak. It's weaker than it is usually, and it's going to be weak for the winter. That's the unfortunate side. They should move to you know, I don't know, 49 meter frequency or a 40 meter frequency, 41 meter. I think Deutsche Welle, I think, was one of the, I think was the second or third, if I try to remember well, it was like the in the first 5 QSL cards I've ever received in my life. First 5 QSL cards. So sad to see that Deutsche Welle is removing English and French from their schedule. You know, there's a few things like that I think we need to check out, because that's one thing I was wondering. You know, I'm always scared of a new schedule season because it's always the time we lose something. It's always there that the station decides, you know what, let's get off of shortwave. Or you know what, let's not broadcast to that region anymore. And I find that sad. And Deutsche Welle is, you know, it's a station I listen to a lot. I used to listen to their French language. French to Africa is actually very interesting on Deutsche Welle. It's not the Deutsche Welle of when I was young. I mean, when I was young, the Deutsche Welle was the news from Germany, what was happening in Germany, and everything about Germany and Europe in general. Now today they're focused on different things. So Deutsche Welle Africa is more on what's happening in Africa than what's happening in Germany. But still, it was an interesting news source of what's happening in Africa. Because, can we just face it, guys? If we don't have these stations, we have no idea what's happening in Africa. I mean, here in Canada, no one's telling us what's happening in Africa right now. Okay? So, it's a little sad to see these go, I gotta say. Really, really sad. Bobby Burgess says Voice of Greece stronger than on 94.20 than 99.35. 94.20, let's check it out. Yeah, Voice of Turkey. Voice of Turkey, sorry. Voice of Greece. 94.20. Yeah, it's there on, but it's better on 94.20. Voice of Greece on 94.20. Absolutely being received here also. And what's that power signal here? Well, that's Radio Marti. Radio Marti 9565. We can hear part of the jamming coming out of Cuba on 9565, for sure. 9565. What else is there here? There's something on 9665. Can't really make it out. 9665 could be that Brazilian station. Anything else in the 31 meter band here? Everything is very weak. You can see it. 9870 Saudi Arabia. Not super strong, but it's there. 9870. Hey, for those that are joining in, you're watching the Shortwave radio show. We are at 2 hours and 20 minutes almost. And this is a show where we talk about shortwave, where we just have fun with listening to the radio and chasing different stations across the bands. And my name is Gilles. I'm located in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And of course, we are here to entertain and try to listen to radio stations. Well, I can bet you, Richard, for me it's probably Brazil. Brazil is is pretty much a regular on 9665. It's weak tonight, but if I have a choice, I'd probably think it's Brazil for me. But then again, you know what, Richard? One of the things that I always say is never to get to the point where you're sure that the station you're listening to is that station, because sometimes you can get surprises. You never know. It could have been Pyongyang's signal, but you know, I can't make out anything, so I don't know. Take care, David Arden. It's nice to have you on board. Yeah, chasing some SSTV also. Hopefully receiving something. That'd be nice for sure. And checking out Parrots. Not Parrots, but Pirates. Let's try to say 6900. Any Pirates right now? Let's check HF Underground. Have they reported any pirates lately in the last hour or so? Let's check it out. Let's check it out. So I want to tell you guys, I'll remind you guys, because a lot of you have joined a few things that I want to talk about that I'll just repeat right now. Remember that Halloween is pirate night, pirate activity time. So this weekend, pirate activity, that's pretty sure we're going to have that. Tonight, tomorrow, Sunday, we know, and I'll repeat it from here, that thanks to Cool AM Radio that has sent me a message, we know that there will be on, so we are live, okay? I'll be live on Halloween night, starting at 2100 UTC. We're going to chase pirates. On that evening, one thing we are sure right now is that during Halloween, a special Halloween show will be relayed over North America by Moonlight Radio and Clever Name Radio. The name of the station will be Creepy Radio. They will be relayed. Creepy Radio. So maybe we can hear Creepy Radio on Halloween night. And there are going to be a lot of other pirates, I'm pretty sure. So this is going to be really, really nice. Another thing to not forget, this is like Pirate Week, because there is what is called Global HF Pirate Radio Weekend. So Global HF Pirate Weekend is next weekend, November 3, 4, 5. Okay, November 3rd, November 4th, and November 5th. And of course, stations will be everywhere because it's a global thing. And last time, an example, I've received Cupid Radio from Holland on 15070. So it's going to be important to check out the different, like HF Underground blog for pirate activity, because there's going to be a lot of stuff happening that weekend. And I think it's going to be nice to tune in on pirates. I will be live on November 3rd and 4th, Friday and Saturday. That means we'll take a look at what kind of pirates we can hear, and I'll try to listen a little more during the daytime and maybe make some videos of some of the pirates I received. So it's really like Pirate Week, if we can put it together. Remember also, this weekend is the CQ Worldwide SSB contest. So this means this weekend the handbands are going to be full of signals. It starts in barely an hour and a half from now at 0000 hours UTC. It's going to be jam-packed of amateur radio signals everywhere. For those that like to, you know, I like to DX during these shows, like to listen to the AM bands for the simple reason there's a lot of stations from countries you never hear that are on the bands for contesting. There's a lot of stations that are on the air from countries that are just for the contest. So there's a lot of stuff to listen to from different parts of the world. And the contest is cool because in an hour you can listen to like 50 different countries. It's just amazing. Now, it is sad for the amateur radio community because when they get over the handbands, it's like there's not a lot of respect, unfortunately, with amateur radio contests. And last but not least, B17 schedule season. That's the change in schedules for the winter in the Northern Hemisphere, summer in the Southern Hemisphere. For the schedules, they change twice a year. They have to, because a lot of stations won't get through if they don't change their frequencies. It starts Sunday, so starting Sunday, a lot of you will be lost on their frequencies. That is going to be for a couple of weeks. The list on the internet, the list of frequencies on the internet will be updated, you know, from time to time, and will eventually be there. But it's very important to just to try to tune around and see what you can hear for sure. So that's going to be very, very interesting to see for sure. And don't forget our special Halloween live show, where I still don't know what I'm going to be disguised as, because I went to the store to see what were the disguises available, and I wasn't kind of sure of any of the disguises that I saw. But I've got one. It's a little expensive, but I thought, maybe. Anyways, we'll see. And if it's not that, I'll just make up something. Who cares? So we are, of course, live from Montreal, Quebec, Canada. And basically, it's going to be a lot of fun to tune around the bands and check out Parrots and just talk about radio. And one sad note that we just learned, thanks to Mickey, it's that Deutsche Welle seems to have decided to remove English and French from their transmission schedule for the winter schedules. I think that's one step in the coffin. By that I mean, by doing that, I think they are this close to saying, you know what, Shortwave is gone for Deutsche Welle. And they've massively reduced their transmissions over time. I think they're that close, saying, look, we've got enough, Oxford Shortwave log, nice to have you on board. It's been a little while. Nice to have you here. It's always nice to have everybody here. So yeah, well, SSTV signals need to be strong to be decoded well, but I rarely hear a lot of them. So keep watching. At some point we'll have something for sure. At least are you doing some nice DXing back there in Brazil? I like to go to South America and do a radio tour of South America. Go as a girl ready for prom. You know what, Bobby? I'll let you in a little secret. I saw a dress, and it just crossed my mind that, could I cross the line and, it crossed my mind for a while. Shady Pyro 90, nice to have you here, Chris. And it's been a while also. Nice to have you on board. Really, really cool. Really nice to have all of you. Oxford First Shortwave log says, yeah, the Xing in the jungle is cool, except I bumped into a tarantula hawk wasp. Oh man. Dispatching a tarantula last night. Youch. That's the only thing I don't like. That's the only thing I don't like in going to South America in the jungle and everything. It's like there's all of these creatures. I have used EIBI View with the EIBI CSV file, absolutely. And if you don't know, also Steve, on HDSDR, I have in the frequency manager here added the CSV for the latest schedules of stations. So when I go here, if I say I want to check by time, and okay, it's 22:28. We're going to go down in frequency to 2200 hours UTC. If I want to try out a station, so here we're going to go here. Let's go down. Here we go. 22. I see a station I want to listen to, for example. Like we're going to try the. We're going to try something here. 2225 to 20. Okay, let's go. 2220. So you want to try one of the stations. All I got to do is simply double click on it, and it actually tunes the station frequency immediately. I can just go into the list there, click on something I want to listen to, and it's on the frequency list. All I got to do is put the CFV file in the HDSDR folder. And it's amazing. It's cool because you got the schedules right here. And it's easy to log and to know what you're listening to at the same time. So there's a lot of little things like that also. But I have tried the EIBI view. Absolutely. Yeah. I gotta say, I try to catch these when I can. Shows are good and fun. That's nice. Nice to have people saying that shows are good and fun. It is fun. Try the buzzer. Let's try it out. 4625. Ain't hearing the buzzer tonight, which is not a surprise. When 5450 is weak for me, usually the buzzer's in there. That is not as strong as usual. I hear the UK RAF vomit stronger than that. Hey, here there's some activity in the
8906 and backup 5598. Here's your call.
And by the way, for those that want to monitor, check out the volumets for New York Radio 6604 for Gander, New York. It seems that New York Radio is off on all frequencies. So if you guys want to check it out, are they off for good or they're just off for maintenance or something? But all frequencies of New York Radio volumet are off. So I wonder if they are off for good or not. For sure. So Steve says you use it on SDR Uno but doesn't show you what's on. Yeah, that's true for that. Shady Pyro says I still listen to the famous Indonesian fish Chandler's Luddle. Oh man, this is kind of cool. Richard Tribble says yes, SWL log does that too. So nice, pretty cool. What do we have? Wish. Bobby says Wish you can import CSV on GQRX. Now, Gilles, you could be decoding some cell calls with multi-PSK. Yeah, of course I have. It crossed my mind when I heard the cell call to get the different cell call. The other day I let multi-PSK on. So cell call is selective calling, for those that wonder, and it's basically it lets the radio in the planes kind of muted, and when they get their cell call, it unmutes so that they know that, for example, New York or any airport is actually trying to. And look at that! It is still at the cell call place. That's what I did last time a few days ago. So it's just funny. And all you need is a cell call of some sort. We need to have planes calling in. So leave it there for a second. What else do we have? Oh, really, Sheldon? Just got a new medium wave station on Graveyard 1230. WJUY in Vizzy, Bangor, Maine. 640 watts. Wow, that's a pretty good catch. 640 watts is really weak. I'll tell you that. Wow. Hey, take care, Sheldon. Always nice to have you on board. Great weekend to you too. Great weekend to you too. And Pirate Radio weekend. Arrgh. Absolutely, Shitty Pyro. It's Pirate Radio weekend, guys. Listen to Pirates. Man. I guess for a Shortwave like says it carries a can of jungle formula. It's supposed to be a mosquito repellent, but all insects ate this stuff. Oh man. Wow, Richard Cook, you're receiving Bangkok meteorological weather. Okay. Well, let's try something here. I think it's... Oh yeah, look at that, guys. Not very strong. Iqaluit weather in the northern part of Canada. Nunavut, Canada. 6507. Iqaluit weather. And I'm going to leave you with Iqaluit weather where I get a beer and see what DX the cat is doing outside. It's up and down. It's not super strong, but it's there. Definitely there. So Richard says, nothing heard. Wonder if New York Vomit maybe be off and they just got turned off the switch. Which would be sad. And by the way, guys, remember that you can help me out. PayPal.me/shortwave or Patreon.com/RadiantComputers can help me out with a little something to help me continue making these live shows. And of course, stay live. I'll be back in 2 seconds, guys. You're going to check on the cat if he's wants to come back inside. So we are back. Mr. Paul was waiting by the door. Wanted to come in. It's like a little cold outside. It's like 7 degrees now, 7 or 8 degrees. So kind of a little cold. So I'm hearing Iqaluit weather. Not very strong, but on 6507 from Nunavut, Canada, northern parts of Canada. Pretty cool. What else do we have? Try it again, 14230, but at this time, no more. Really no ham stations, nowhere, not even digital modes. 20 meter band is dead here. 14230 will not be possible in this place. KC Red Dragon. Pirate on 6935 upper sideband. Good in Denver. Check it out. Not getting anything here. Not getting anything here. On the pirate side, Because we are at 2240 UTC. So, what's the web SDR you're using, PC Red Dragon? Remember that just 300-400 kilometers is a huge difference. No, you don't need a separate setup for SSTV, but it just 20-meter band is dead right here. Hey, ionospheric sounder here. Really nice to see on the display. So 40-meter band hams talking. Let's check it out.
And it's going into an old CAI CL35 amplifier, about a kilowatt. So it's just past our...
Yeah, but I did put 6935 MDK2. I did go on 6935. It's just that I moved it really fast to something else. If it's there, it's extremely weak in the noise. So, no, but I was on 6935 NDK2. It's just that I moved really fast to something else because I didn't hear anything. But I was on 6935. There's maybe something really weak. Maybe something really, really weak. But not strong. MDK Gander should be quiet now. 3485. Okay, 6604. Really hearing nothing at all. What weather stations are there for America besides FACS? There's the voice weather stations like Chesapeake, Virginia. There's the station in there's WLO in Mobile, Alabama. There's that station in New Orleans. There's another one in California, giving out weather broadcasts, voice weather broadcasts. Also, there's the Volmets, which are there's Gander, Newfoundland, Canada. There are some scattered also on different frequencies. For example, here on the lower frequencies like 2749, I hear some of the more local ones here in Quebec and close. So basically, the one in Virginia is NMN, Chesapeake, Virginia. Their next broadcast, I'm just going to check it out here. NMN. Let's go to EIVI. I'm just going to check for the latest broadcast. Michael Botts says, just suppose on free, is it really one of the signs of the apocalypse if Voice of Greece can be heard on both 9935 and 9420? Who knows? Who knows, Michael? So if I look at 8764, I think it's Chesapeake. The next broadcast is at 23:15, which means it's in half an hour from now. On 8764, you'll hear that one probably. Chesapeake, Virginia, U.S. Coast Guard weather. These are all Coast Guard weather stations, by the way, but they are easy to hear in general. Wait, I'll give you a link to SSB Maritime weather broadcasts. I'll give you a link to the different stations. So here you'll have the different broadcasts from... It's an incomplete one because there's more than that. There's this one here, which is Maritime. Copy. Let's check it out here from Chesapeake, Virginia. So there's one here. Well, you'll see some of the schedules. But it's incomplete because there's also WLO in Mobile, Alabama that has some. And there's also other places. David says, but I fired up my ICOM ICR 8500. Pyongyang Pensong 6400 comes in audibly through my 7-city noise. Wow, pretty good. That's pretty good. Stacy Dubis, nice to have you. Take care. And it's nice to have all of you on board usually. And pretty cool to have everybody here. So let's check it out here. Okay, nothing there. So hey guys, we're gonna cut it a little shorter tonight. We've been on for 2 hours and 45 minutes. Not bad of run. We'll be back on Tuesday, Halloween night, chasing pirates. Don't forget, it's Pirate Week. Pirates because of Halloween. There's going to be a lot of it. And there's also the Global HF Pirate Weekend next week, November 3rd, 4th, and 5th. And basically, we will be looking at chasing pirates that weekend also. So I want to really thank everybody for being here. As usual, this is always fun to do. Hope you enjoyed your stay. I'm going to stay listening to the radio for the rest of the evening. Eat some lasagna. And also, there's don't forget that Sunday the schedule is going to change. So if you don't find your favorite station, might be possible it's not on the same frequency suddenly. And I'll be posting next week, by the way, my highlight videos. You know, every schedule season I always post a few videos of highlights of stations for a specific time, for North America by hour, and for Europe. I'll be posting some of these videos next week for sure. And basically we'll be doing that next week. And finally, I'll be probably listening to Alan Wiener a little later on 3265 or 5130, depending on the frequency you use that's listenable here from WBCQ. It's kind of a fun Friday night shortwave listening experience. And if all hell breaks loose, I'll be listening. I'll be actually watching second season of Stranger Things on Netflix this weekend because I really want to see that. So hey, take care everybody. Thanks for the donations, for those that donated during the show. Thanks for being great fans. Thanks for being here as always. Don't worry about it, Oxford. Like I say, it's better late than never, and it's fun to see everybody, even if it's for a short amount of time. So thanks everybody. Take care. Stay safe, please. Always fun to have all of you here. And next show, Tuesday, October 31st, Halloween night. We'll chase pirates. Take care. Bye-bye. Starts at 2100 UT. Bye.